Good afternoon and welcome everyone. I'm Saksham Garg, editor, author, and literary agent. And as a literary agent, I have the great honor of representing the English rights of Ravi Mantri's Amma Dairylo Konni Pageelu. And I am in conversation today with both the author as well as Swetha Yerram, the publisher. And, the book was launched in 2023, originally in Telugu. And since then, 2024 has been a phenomenal year for the book. It's been one of the highest selling books in the country. And I'm excited to announce here today that as of this morning, 9 a.m., Ravi Mantri signed the English contract with Penguin Random House India for the translation of his book. So without further ado, I'd like to dive right in. Ravi, why is the book called Amma Dairylo Konni Pageelu, and what does that mean?
Hello. Yep. First of all, thank you so much for everyone to listen whatever I'm going to speak about my book. The title is Amma Dairylo Konni Pageelu. I know you will learn how to say that name. So meaning is few pages from mom's diary. So why the title? To me, every woman before she becomes a mom is a girl. She has a past. She must be having dreams. She must be having her love, life and everything. But ever since she becomes mother, we don't want to talk about it. At least most of the children don't want to talk about her past or her love life or anything. So I just wanted to talk about the few pages of her life. So that's the reason I titled it as Amma Dairylo Konni Pageelu, as in few pages or few chapters from her life. So that's it, yeah.
I think this book has, over time, shown that it is a testament to the unconditional love that mothers also give. Swetha, I want to ask you, tell us, because Ravi's book has been one of the highest selling books. Right? There have been times where it's been number one on the Amazon overall category. That's 2,000 copies a day, every day on Amazon alone over a long period of time. So these are phenomenal, extraordinary figures. As his publisher, what is Ravi doing right?
I think the story speaks for itself, and people were able to connect, resonate with the essence of what he just said. He wanted to talk about the unfulfilled dreams of women in general and mothers in specific, about their past life before they became a mother or before they became a wife. And a lot of us do not like to talk about it, as he said. Especially boys do not like to talk about their mother's love stories. But I think that has changed when they read this book. We received a lot of emails, DMs, and phone calls from men especially saying that they understand their mothers better now, they understand their wives better now. So I think he tried to catch the essence of what women go through before marriage, that women has a different life before marriage, and men look at it in a different point of view after they get married, after women get married, and that is something he changed with his book. I dare not say changed, but at least there are some people who read the book and resonated with the content of it. And coming to women, almost every woman who read the book got connected with the content and the emotions triggered in the book. And that's the connecting point. A lot of people connected to the dreams that they were not able to fulfill. A lot of women, and that's a resonating point. That's the right thing Ravi did. He talked about women and their dreams.
It's a testament that even today, the highest selling books rely on the great writing, the content, right? And that is the inveterate cornerstone that needs to propel forward. Even the highest selling books are, at the end of the day, well-written books. And that is so reassuring today. Ravi, talking more about the book itself, for those of you who perhaps haven't had a chance to pick it up yet or are going to wait until the second half of this year when the English translation will be out, I just want to tell you a little bit about the book. It follows Sarika, and it's set in the 80s in Andhra University. And it follows Sarika, and she falls, despite caste differences, in love with this boy named Ram. And they share a moment together that they'll rarely ever forget for the rest of their lives. But due to societal norms, they're torn apart. They find themselves married to other individuals, both Sarika and Ram. And this book, through its themes of second chances, so their kids come together, learn of their college romance, and try and orchestrate a reunion. And it's amazing because the entire book, as an editor, I found it so cool because he's written it from a limited first-person perspective. It's Sarika's perspective throughout. So what are the benefits and limitations of a restricted lens?
See, first of all, to write and think in Sarika's perspective, I have to think like a woman, which is very difficult, very difficult. Like I have to become mom, I have to become the young girl, everything. So when I wrote the first version, it was written in the third perspective. Like I wrote the story, like I was telling the narrative. But when we were discussing with my publishers, they suggested this thing like, why can't someone from the story tell this one? I'm like, okay, fine, let me think about this then. And then I started thinking and writing in Sarika's perspective. That is where the real challenge comes, because Sarika cannot go to every place, like probably Ram's hostel or probably her husband's office. She cannot go to everywhere. How to put those scenes which were crucial when I can express in third person perspective, but when Sarika is telling how to put that one, that is where I felt challenging, but I think I put it in a correct way. I don't want to give any spoilers to you guys. He has given already enough action, right? So yeah, that's the biggest challenge. Yeah, and another challenge which I faced is 90s, 80s background, which I chose. That is what I think Saksham was mentioned before. 80s background, which probably most of the people would have not seen who are sitting here, or the youngsters. That was my mom's generation. When I'm going to talk about mom's love story, I have to go back to her age or her times, right? 1980s, Andhra University, Visakhapatnam. So I have done enough research, and I have to believe something, then only I can make you believe. I think I did enough research. I've talked to many people, and that got worked out. When people are reading the book and they see themselves in Sarika's character, when they say that I think I am Sarika, I have a past, or I am Sarika, I felt like, okay, you achieved something. Yeah.
No, it's not easy putting yourself and seeing the world through Sarika's lens and trying to bring the entire narrative to life. And, you know, if you sort of, taking it back to you, Swetha, the book, although launched in 2023, saw a sudden change of tide. There was a moment in 2024 that propelled the book to the top of the charts. So what was that turning point?
So to be very honest, Ravi was not confident that he could sell more than 200 copies of his book.
Trust me, guys. Trust me. Yes, I said 200 is the total count. Like I can sell 200 copies.
And as of today, we sold 170,000 copies of the book. So 8 months into publishing the book, overnight, we started receiving a lot of DMs, and our Instagram and email was popping with orders, and something changed. We were not sure what happened. What happened overnight? Did we wake up in a dream? What's happening? And by that point, we sold 1,500 copies in 8 months. We were receiving good reviews by that point, but we were not sure we would sell this many copies. It's a dream, definitely. We started tracing back the connection between the number of orders we were receiving and where it all started. And it took us a few days to understand where it all started. Some nameless Instagram page, which had barely 200 followers, read this book and created a reel and a meme on the book, and 200 followers that Instagram handle had. And the name of the Instagram handle was also something like Instagram trendy videos or something. So it was a nameless handle. And that reel alone received 1 million views under 24 hours. We don't know how. This is the magic of the social media. But the good thing is, the trend catched up. Other Instagram influencers started trying to see what is in the book. Other reviewers started to see what is in the book. And it spread like wildfire. It was a nuclear fission for me because one reel initiates multiple readers, multiple content creators, and it did not stop until today. And we feel that it's still tip of the iceberg. While the whole Telugu literary community was feeling selling for 100 books in Telugu is an achievement. When all these orders started coming in, we had people reaching out to bookstores and asking, is it true? Are they faking their numbers? How did they manage to do this? Is it just a PR game? They really did not sell that many copies, right? And the bookstore people were like, we have the proofs. We did not talk from our end, but the bookstore distributors and bookstore people, they answered for us. So, as I said, it was a nuclear fission that the Instagram created. But from our end, we were able to keep up. As a small publisher, it was very, very difficult to even print the number of copies for the demand we were getting. And supplying it, delivering it is totally another game. Like, we used to call our, when we had to deliver 2,000-3,000 copies per day at one point, we used to call our office as a factory, because there were, at any given point of time, there were at least 10 people packing the books, just packing the books. So yeah, it's a nuclear fission that the power of social media created. And we are very glad that brought us here.
And every time when Swetha is going to say that we are going with these many number of books, I couldn't sleep for 3 days, 4 days. Like, I don't think I can sell as many numbers as you are saying. She's like, no, you don't have to sell, we'll take care of it. And that we did it, and they did it. I don't know.
So when I used to tell initially, we are going with 10,000 copies this time. The first time when I said that, he was, oh my God, I think you're going to lose all your money. I said, I'll keep all the books in the warehouse and look at them every day, but I'm still going to print because I expect people to read this book more and more. People started liking it and they understand. I understand it's going to be a trend, so I'm going to print 10,000 copies now. And every time I went with a bigger number, he was getting very scared. This is not common. Because a lot of authors would be very happy when their publisher come and say, oh, we are printing 20,000 copies of your book. They would be on the cloud nine, so they would be very happy. But Ravi is very responsible and accountable author. I can say this as a publisher. He never demanded that, oh, go on, print this many copies. Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? He is very accountable, responsible. He has been taking part in the marketing of the book greatly, and there was a great support from him all through. We wouldn't have achieved, even if the book was so good, without his support, it's impossible. So I think the author and publisher relationship here has been really strong in the achievement of the book.
It's nice to hear good words, you know, which you always say. Yeah, thank you.
No, but in the digital age, you know, it's perhaps not surprising that you have works, written works, to a degree being carried by social media clout. But what is surprising and commendable about Ravi's book, I feel, Swetha, is the fact that there is a plethora of user and reader-generated content that has been carrying the book for the longest time. And it begs the question, Ravi, when you started writing, you know, how did it start? And did you envision the book being this big?
No way. I didn't even thought that I'm going to publish a book. So I just started writing a love story. I wanted to tell a love story which was based in 80s background and everything. So I wrote whatever I feel like, but I'm kind of a perfectionist. So whatever you are doing, do it with, you know, right? In Hindi they say shiddat se. So I did that with all my this thing. And once the output is there, then I gave a thought about why can't I publish this as a book. And then I met publishers, and then I ended up Swetha, and I said 200 books. I have only two things. One, I want to see my work as a book. That's the biggest thing for me and for my mom as well. So obviously for her. And the second thing is, I said 200 copies is more than enough. I think I can sell 200 copies. These are the only two things which were there in my mind. I never seen the big picture, bigger picture, whatever is happening. It's kind of a dream I'm living, guys. Trust me.
Yeah, talking of the dream now, Ravi went from 200 to seeing his book on the corners of the streets, at piracy vendors. As an author myself, I'm no alien to the challenge that this can be. But as the publisher who also suffers losses, what are challenges that you've had for Ravi's book around piracy?
At this point, I only have funny stories to tell. Maybe for the first 1 week, when we have seen the piracy, we were tensed. Oh, maybe all the stock that we printed is not going to be sold, and I might have to really keep staring at it in the warehouse. I told with a lot of confidence to him, but I was scared at one point. But I became a Sherlock Holmes for a few weeks after that. Started digging into the book piracy industry, and yeah, well, I found lanes of piracy book publishers in Old City, Hyderabad, and apparently there are a lot more in Delhi. So if you all want to purchase books at very low cost and low quality or get printed, those are the places to go. Yeah, so there were some book distributors and bookshop owners and authors who were part of the whole gang of piracy. When I'm saying gang, it's actually a gang. This is what I found out in my exploration. And after a point, we realized there isn't much that we can do at this point. And I was talking to Millie Aishwarya from Penguin, and she said the same, that there isn't much we can do after a point. So we tried to put up some legal fights in vain. So coming to the funny stories of piracy, somebody called us saying, oh, there are these beautiful hardbound books of Amma Dairylo Konni Pageelu somewhere in Pennsylvania in a small town. I'm like, oh, is the book available in the US in hardbound? We have never printed it in hardbound. We never published in hardbound. I reached out to the library, the department, and realized that there was a Gujarati publisher, distributor, somewhere in Columbus, Ohio, who has been supplying books from India to multiple libraries in the US. By purchasing it in the local bookstores in India, he hardbounds them and sells them to libraries at least $30 per book. And I traced back to his number. I called him, and he asked me, why are you sad about it? You should be very happy I gave your book a local stage, a global stage. You should thank me. In fact, a lot of authors call me and thank me for taking their books to global stage. I asked him, do you understand this is piracy and this is illegal? He asked me to explain how it is so. I had to explain to him, and he was very adamant. And after an hour discussion, he finally said, okay, going forward, I'll buy the books from you, but I'm going to hardbound them yet. So I understood it was a losing game and gave up the fight after a point. And there was another bookshop seller who was trying to convince me to tell, okay, I anyway printed a lot of copies now, let me sell this edition. From next time onwards, I'll buy from you directly. So they were negotiating with us. The piracy booksellers were negotiating with us when we reached out to them. So we gave up that fight. That's okay. Most of the readers still want to buy the book at the lowest price possible. They do not really care, most of them, if the book is of good quality. Only they'll call us when there are some missing papers in between and part of the story is missing. So I don't think we can do much about the piracy at this point, but if anyone has any creative, productive solutions, please reach out to us. I'd be very happy to discuss.
Also, I would like to add a small story to this one, if I'm not boring you guys. So I got a message from someone saying that it's a small village in Andhra Pradesh. A student of 13 years old student, he was reading my book in his class, in between the class. So the teacher was surprised to see why are you reading this? What is this? And he explained everything, and he said, my mom got this book from some app. I don't want to mention the name, but he got the book from 99 rupees from app. So should I be happy that a 13-year-old guy is reading my book in the classroom, or should I be sad that he bought it from that fake book? I don't know.
We finally compromised on the point that the book is reading a lot of readers. So it's okay if there are a few pirated copies. For every copy that we printed, for every 4 copies that we printed, there is at least 1 pirated copy, is our estimation at this point. So the number that I initially mentioned, the 1,70,000 copies, is just the official number from us. So there could be a lot more pirated copies. We are using it as a boasting point right now.
Yeah, I think after a certain point, you've got to start counting your sales figures as official and piracy figures combined as well. But, I will talk a little bit about the themes in the book, Ravi. The opinion on caste is something that comes up often, and you see the characters almost trying to rise above it, but at times find themselves drawn again and again towards it. I think Sarika's mum has also particular views. So when you were writing the book, what is the takeaway that you wanted, readers to sort of take from the book?
If I say this thing, most of the people won't agree, but everybody knew this thing. In India, the things are run by caste and religious system. So you can't take these things from yourself. Like adding your name to the end, that itself says that you belong to this caste. So sorry, I don't want to say anything, but so I grew up in that system. I saw people getting married in the same caste. People are against to intercaste marriages and everything. So I wanted to talk about that, at least in this generation. We have to go beyond that. So that is the key point in the story. Sorry, thank you for letting everyone know again. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that. It's little difficult to talk about it because it is kind of controversial topic, but still it worked out well in my book. I did not go through deep into the roots, but I just covered the key points which everyone will understand, and yeah.
But you've had an overwhelming response, readers sending you letters. You've made a difference in the lives of a lot of these people from the stories that I've been hearing. You want to tell us about a few of these?
If I say that, people might think that I'm exaggerating, but I can say that somewhere around the world, someone at this time, they must be reading the book. I can proudly say that because every hour I'll receive one email, handwritten letter, or sometimes our Aju office, like our office, publisher's office, will receive some letters or gifts or something about made this book to their life. So there are stories that we can talk. My publishers used to make fun out of me saying that you can write another book with the experiences that you got after this Amma Dairylo Konni Pageelu success. So I received so many messages and mails.
Are there any others that, because I remember you also mentioned...
Yeah, there are several... should I call them fan emails? I'm not sure, but they fell in love with the book, and there were people who were saying that they bonded with their separated love from several years ago. They exchanged the book and asked them to read the book, and they decided to try the relationship again. And there were few men who reached out saying, "Oh, I understand my mother better now." And there was one particular email which I connected really well. Because it's something that my sister and I wanted to do to my mom after my father passed away. We thought maybe mom is lonely, our companionship is not enough for her. Maybe we should ask her if she is looking for a companion in another man. I never told this to Ravi.
I'm hearing it for the first time here.
Yeah. And there was one man who emailed Ravi saying, my mom has been lonely for several years, and I realized it only after reading the book. Now I want to ask her if she wants to see someone, date someone. Thank you for making me realize what my mom has been going through all these years. So there are several such emotional emails that we get every day, calls that we receive, and some of them are really funny too. Some of them are very engaging, and most of them wants to talk to the author and tell them, you did something to our lives that we are very thankful for, which is I think that itself is the greatest success of the book. We are talking about the number of the copies sold, but the responses from the readers have been our treasure. We will talk about them for the rest of our lives.
I think to me or to any other, these are the treasures that they can say forever. Like I can remember many, like adding to Swetha's point, I usually, like I have received some 4 to 5 letters or emails from pregnant women saying that when they were reading, I mean, I don't know, not everybody, but definitely people were emotional when they're reading this book. So pregnant women, they started getting this baby kicking thing. Like I shared that screenshot with my friend saying that, is it really going to happen? So when I see these kind of emails and letters, I myself get emotional. I'm like, when I was writing the book, I was not emotional, but when I'm reading these things, I definitely will get emotional. Like, okay, you did something, someone somewhere around the world is reading the book and they are sending the love to you in this form. So this is beyond the numbers, I think.
No, I think it really makes it all worth it, doesn't it? When you received positive feedback, response from readers, it makes all the number of hours you've put in, you've poured out everything in terms of emotions and the hope that the readers will be able to feel a fraction of what you're trying to convey, whatever is lost through the written word. So I think there is a lot that, there are a lot of heights for Amma Dairylo Konni Pageelu to climb, and I'm keen to understand the journey exactly, because there was a time when it was just you, and then there was a time when Swetha joined the team, and finally I had the great pleasure of joining, Team Amma Dairy as well. So I'm keen to understand, how did you guys meet, and what was that first conversation like?
Okay, before Ravi says anything, Ravi thought I was a 60-year-old lady, and he was pretty sure that I'm not going to like the book. What, you're talking about second chances of a woman, a married woman? I don't think she's going to like it. Let me try and see. So the worst that could happen is this would be the third publisher that is rejecting my book. That were his thoughts. He told me later. We had a call after I read the book. He patiently waited for 4 months. Is it 4?
Do we want to add the
okay, yeah,
previous period?
Go ahead. You can have all the complaints now. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I sent the initial copy and it took over 6 months. I was so hesitant to ask, but I also like, okay, you already have to wait for a few more days. I'm like, how are you? Are you good today? How is your day going? Okay, did you get chance to read the book? We are reading it. That's it. That is thumb only I'll get. So after a few days, I got a response saying that, like we are okay with the book, or there are few changes needs to be made. Okay, I did that one. Okay, that I took 2 months, like I said, the third person perspective and Sarika's perspective. Now I fell in love with the second version after I started thinking like Sarika, and I became Sarika, and I started writing like Sarika. I like the newer version more than the previous version, and I sent this one. Before sending it, I knew that okay, I have to wait for 6 more months. But this time they came. Before that, like she was like, okay, I want to talk about it. I'm like, okay, this is sorry to say, but this she's not gonna approve this one. She's gonna say something more. But once she came into the picture, things moved faster, and she worked on the cover page. We were bugging this artist. I used to send the memes to that artist like every day, like funny memes, like did you finish this one? How many days you take and everything. I bugged him, and finally we released the book, and rest is history. And then Saksham came into our lives. Once, should I mention that? Yeah. Once Saksham came into, I got a call from him. Like I got an Instagram text, and then he messaged me. I'm like, who is this guy? Okay, he wrote a book. And then he started talking about English translation rights and everything. Okay, let me have a call with him. And when he was talking, he started talking about Penguin. He started talking about big names and everything. Is it really happening? Because we were very big, less in number, like we were talking about June last year. So we were below 10,000, 5,000 around. I was like, why he wants to translate? We are just 5,000. I don't know. He saw the bigger picture. Now I understand why he approached it. But yeah, he was being patient with us. We were discussing. Then I brought Swetha into the picture because I know she can handle better than me. Luckily, I was sitting in Ireland and she was sitting in US, and Saksham was in India. So we had to set up a time for three of us, weekends or something, we'll catch up. That's morning, afternoon, evening for him. So we'll sit and we'll discuss something, and okay, we'll have another call. And that another call will happen after 2 months. Yeah, finally, today is the day.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So even Saksham thought I was a 60-year-old. I don't know what's with my voice. I need to change it, or I have to start publishing my pictures everywhere. So once Saksham came into the picture, I think it was a very different journey for us from what we have seen in Telugu. Getting into English was a totally different thing. And as Ravi was saying, Ravi was in Ireland, I was in the US, and we both were able to publish and distribute and market the book, not being in the country. But getting it translated into other Indian languages needs a lot more effort than simply writing it in one vernacular languages. And that's where Saksham has been very, very helpful. And I think aside from being helpful, we ended up making really good friends with him. And it has helped even more, taking the book to Penguin now. Thank you, Saksham. Yeah.
Huge congratulations. Yeah, no, I'm blushing for sure. And huge congratulations to both of you. I'm so delighted to be part of Team Amma Diary, genuinely. And I know that it's just onwards from here. With an eye on time, I do want to quickly ask a couple of quick questions. Swetha, you've not just been a publisher, but also a mentor in helping Ravi make the tough decisions, advising him. I'm just curious, and feel free to tell me if there's nothing, but is there anything in this journey up until now that if you could change, any big decision that you could make better, that you would, for anyone who's listening to us and perhaps looking to craft their own journey as ambitiously?
Right. I think I would tell it for the publishers of regional languages, maybe not so much to the authors, and maybe a little to authors too. So I think the regional, local authors should stop seeking validation from the literary community, but start seeking it from the readers themselves. And you write your books for your readers, not for your literary community, is what I strongly believe will take a book to the readers. We need to go to the readers. Readers are not coming to us in this age and time. And we need to find, and to the publishers, we need to find the lost readers where we lost them. If we lost them to the social media, go to social media and find them. So a targeted, focused marketing in social media will make regional language publishing really rich. And there is a huge untapped market there, is what we believe, and our book has been proving that. And I think it's time for regional language publishers to take their stories to global level, not just through translations, but also through regional languages themselves. We should be ready to take some risks in that perspective, which we are scared at this point saying, oh, I'll just go with 200 copies or maybe 500 and I'll call my book a hit. So, find your targeted readers for the genre and the kind of book you're choosing and take it from there. I'm not saying it's a one-day success that we achieved. We have been trying on this focused marketing from the last 4 years, and finally it started working. And it's not just for our book. Thankfully, the sales of our books have been triggering the sales of other Telugu books. We are getting calls from our other Telugu publisher friends saying, oh, there was a guy who called us today morning and ordered 10 books from us. And he's a first-time reader. The first book he read is Amma Dairylo Konni Pageelu, and now he found his newfound love for reading made him buy even more books. So he's calling all the publishing houses, contemporary publishing, Telugu publishing houses, and ordering 10 books from each of them. So we had a few calls with Amazon regional sales heads, and they said 40% of the new Amazon accounts open in one particular region in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana were just buying this one book. That is the only sale that they were doing with their new Amazon account. So I think the regional publishers need to be focusing more on getting the new readers, contemporary readers. There are young generation readers who are willing to read if you give them the content that they can relate to. You cannot always keep talking about caste and negativity in the society. People want to read love stories. People want to read contemporary stories that they can relate to. So let's give them what they want to read. Let's get the readers into the habit of reading first. Later you can give them serious literature, or they will start exploring it on their own. So we should stop looking down upon contemporary literature. That's my opinion.
I loved what you said, and it's so important to recalibrate why it is that we write. It's not for validation, it's for ourselves, it's for the readers, right? And it's a testament to the success of Ravi's book that it's now acting as a gateway book for a lot of new readers. And what bigger joy than inducting readers from the larger diaspora. But, you know, the winds are changing. You're talking about how regional languages and books in regional languages are perhaps, from what I've seen as an agent, are picking up more so than ever now. I mean, Ravi's book has been right up there in the Amazon charts at number 1, at number 2, as one of the few books in regional languages, if you look at the overall category, for example, or even the other charts. But what else can authors do? You know, in your experience, based on the authors that you've published, there is a wind of change. To what degree is it social media? What is bringing about this change?
I think because of the attention span we lost through social media, now a lot of people are looking to do things that can increase their attention span, but they might not be looking at it in that perspective, but they want to do some things that will improve their concentration. Like they are concentrating on yoga, meditation, and a lot of well-being things for themselves. And reading is one of those things. I believe there is a wave of change, a wave of new generation readers of all age groups. And I should also say, reviving the people who used to read before a lot, but not anymore, are trying to revive the habit of reading again. At least I believe that. I'm seeing a lot of people doing that. And publishers now can take a step forward to reap the benefits of this particular group of readers who wants to read more books. And as I was saying, give them more relatable content, even the authors. If you stop seeking validation, you'll stop writing things that you don't really connect to. You'll only write things that you want to write. Even today we are sitting here and we can talk about White Nights of Dostoevsky. Like, if he was thinking, or if the publisher at the point was thinking, who would want to read the story of a young man from 17th century roaming in the streets of St. Petersburg just for a girl, and his story ends in 2 nights, and he never gets the girl. If you just put it in such simple lenses, no one would have published his book. So why should it always be a big fight in somebody's life? It could be somebody sitting in an Irani cafe in Hyderabad thinking, oh, I wish that girl swiped right for my profile on Tinder. It could be so simple, but it could be very important for that person. Somebody who is waiting for a call from a recruiter could be a very, very important thing for him. So these are the relatable stories for contemporary readers. I think we should start writing more and more about contemporary stories. And I'm sure an old English professor sitting somewhere in the corner of UK would want to read the story of a young guy from Jaipur who is waiting for a girl to say yes for his proposal. So I think we should write more about our stories.
I also would like to add one more thing here. I think there is nothing like people are not reading books because I'm not proudly saying, but we are myth breakers. At least there are so many new readers. People are ready to read. Just write what you feel. Just write anything you can write. I'm not saying about controversial topics or anything, but write. Don't seek for validation. That is what worked out in my case. I never wanted to, like my brother or somebody, they'll say, why did you write this thing, why can't you change this? Like, I'm like, okay, if you don't like it, don't read it. There are readers for it, they will read it, they will like it, it's fine. So in the recent book fairs that happened in Hyderabad and Vijayawada book fairs, I think these two book fairs proved that there are new readers. Everybody is visiting all the bookstalls and everything. I got calls. Even Swetha can add this to me. New readers, youngsters, like they were coming with They use Snapchat. They'll come to the bookshops and they were taking pictures and they were buying books. Everybody will buy 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, and they started giving gifts as the books to the parents and everything. I'm not saying that we are trendsetter, but something happened in Telugu or a regional language, because if you are like whatever say, I'm a Telugu born boy, so I think I speak in Telugu. So even though I'm talking in English, I'll process it in Telugu. I think the same case happens with most of the Hindi medium or the people. So try to read regional books as well. Definitely, yes, English we prefer, but it would be good if you start reading your mother tongue, like mother. That is like, my language is my mother. To me, Telugu is my mother. So I continue writing in Telugu. I'm very good in Telugu, so I'll continue writing in Telugu. But there are readers. There is scope for brighter future for Telugu or regional writers. That's what I can say.
I'd like to ask you to hold up the book, please. Yes.
Yeah, this is the book I've been talking about. So it took 9 months for me to write this book. I think that is the time a mother, right? So yeah, 9 months. So this is Amma Dairylo Konni Pageelu.
By Ravi Mantri.
Yeah. So most of the people will recognize me after reading this one, because they know, they would have seen me somewhere on the road or something. After seeing this book, oh, you're the guy. They might be working on the same floor or something. I read this book, and then they'll see the photo and you're the writer of this book. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a picture I didn't want to use in the first place.
I love it. That's what you don't seek for validation. You do whatever you like. People will like it.
But as the book continues to climb all charts and touch more hearts, I am curious, Ravi, because we've got a minute left now. As your literary agent, what are you working on next?
It's, I don't want to tell the plot or anything. Like, I think you will give the spoilers. No. It's it's a story of a girl, a love story, a new age love story, based out of Kolkata. And it's a love story between Kolkata, Bengali girl, and I don't want to reveal the other details, but soon we are planning to release as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not revealing the name of the book, but we are planning to name the book the same in all languages. So it's a very Sanskrit kind of name, and we are going to have it in all languages, including English, Hindi, whatever it is.
Thank you. I didn't realize that we can put the same name in all languages. Just realized. Thank you.
And yeah, thank you. I'm going to be his publisher for the next books too. Thank you, Ravi.
Sure, you are.
No, that's perfect. I just want to encourage everyone, while we wait and anticipately wait for Ravi and Swetha to work together on the publication of the next book. I'd like to encourage everyone to pick up Amma Diary, and the English translation, like I mentioned, will be out later in the year as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, everyone, for being
so
patient.
much.
And thank you.
They just said we have 5 more minutes, so if any one of you want to ask any questions, yeah. Do we have a mic that we can pass on?
Hi, congratulations first of all on the success of the Telugu version.
Thank you.
Yeah, to both of you,
Thank you.
writer and publisher. And also congratulations that you've got the rights to translate.
Thank you so much.
Into Telugu. Who's doing the translation?
Penguin, but
No,
the
the author.
It hasn't been revealed yet, the
revealed yet.
translator. Yeah.
Okay, but we are very lucky. See, I am a Telugu person born and brought up in the north. So I read Telugu with a lot of tepidity. So this will be good for me. Okay, now my question is this. Amma Dairylo
Konni Pageelu.
Konni Pageelu. Who is the inspiration, or what is the inspiration behind this book?
It's mom for sure, and like I said before, I just wanted to talk about the love stories or story of a mom, any mom, whatever past she has. Like I've noticed this thing in most of the families that we romanticize father's love stories. Like my father is a macho in college and he has got so many girlfriends or something. But nobody wants to talk about, mom, do you have a love story? No, we'll say, mom, you look so beautiful in your college days. But we never want to say that, did you fall in love before getting married to dad? No, they wanted to believe that dad is the first love for mom. So I want to talk about that. It's like inspiration. I've seen many people and I wanted to talk about it.
In Telugu, there is a word, I don't know how to translate it exactly because it will lose its meaning if I translate it. It's called Stri Pakshapati. So that is what Ravi is. He is always on the women's side, be it in
Partial
real
towards
life.
women.
Yeah, always partial towards women. So that's what he does in his books too.
But men are liking the books.
Yeah, I think somebody did.
Only one small difference with you, Ms. Sangeeta, that is, validation, not from the critics, from the readers. I think there is not much contradiction between them. And I know many literary critics in Telugu who are appreciating Ravi to bring back reading as a hobby to the Telugu audience. I think that's not a small achievement. Once people started reading, youngsters started reading, later on the reading will bring them to good book or bad book. That's a different thing. But what he did, Ravi, was, for a long time in Telugu literature, we have a very popular literature and which used to be sold in a higher number of the values. For a long time, ever since Telugu TV serial damaged the entire culture and nobody is reading that novels. And many publishers are struggling even to sell 500 copies of any novel they published it. And in that time, again, foreground in the reading, the very habit of the reading is its contribution to the Telugu literary canvas. I think none of the literary critics undermine that one, and they have to be thankful because later on we'll pick up from their other books also which are much more serious, maybe not only the emotions and the feelings, maybe that can talk about the issues and struggles of the people as well. That's what.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback, sir. So before the critics recognized our book, the readers recognized our book. So I still ask all the authors to seek validation from readers first. And as per, the second point you talked about the bookshops. Sorry, I missed the second point that you talked about.
Reading itself.
Yeah. So popular. So I don't believe in the fact that the value of something comes down just because it's popular. And I also believe there is no good book or bad book. There is only books that you like and that you don't like.
I think we are running out of time.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for this inspiring talk, and you'll definitely be the first Telugu writer I will be reading. I can't wait for the English translation to come out. My question is, would you place your book and your writing in the context of a larger feminist literature movement in India? Like, as far as I have understood, you're making women seen more as just being mothers. So would you say this is, you're placing it in sort of a larger feminist discourse?
I might not exactly say that, but this is going to be a game changer, at least, because with the responses that we got, like Swetha was telling about this thing, a guy who was thinking about her mother, who lost her husband before 20 years ago, he was thinking about his mom's loneliness and being together. Now, I think it is definitely going to be a game changer.
So I would say Ravi puts up fight. He's a strong feminist, but he does it with love. So he sugar-coated feminism with a lot of love.
That's a big word.
Kushi, Can you give the mic to the lady up front, right next to you? Really quick, ma'am, but we promised it to you, so yeah, thank you.
Thank you. My question is about, you're talking about vernacular literature, you're talking about people getting back to read in Telugu, right? But there have been other languages, there are other languages where people have been reading in their language first or most also. You look at Marathi, you look at Bengali, you look at, so there's a strong base of people reading in the vernaculars, not just your generation or my generation, even the earlier and the later generation. So would you like to place, would you say something about where does Telugu vernacular reading in the current generation and some other languages, is there a time gap, lapse there? Like this gentleman said, the friend said that it's because of the TV viewing that has happened and things like that. So was reading obstructed, was reading stopped, had reading not started in the vernacular compared to other vernacular languages, Hindi, Marathi, Bengali?
I think in Telugu it's been close to 20-30 years that there weren't not any, but many contemporary writings that were happening. And there was a huge gap where there weren't writers who were writing to serve the contemporary readers. It was mostly about the issues that they couldn't relate to. A lot of people have moved to corporates and they have moved to cities, and a lot of caste and other issues there were problems still, but they were not most of their problems. Unlike 30-40 years ago, where they haven't had many job opportunities in the urban areas, and so they had to go through those problems of caste and poverty on everyday basis. But people were still writing about those stories, and there was no relatability. And obviously, there was TV, there were movies, and now the OTTs. So there was more content for them to consume than what books could give to them. And there were a lot of contemporary stories told in other mediums, not in the books. And when we start saying stories that they can relate to in any format, I believe people will come back to that medium. And we can start doing that in books now.
Thank you very much, Swetha. Thank you, panel.